With Victor Wembanyama on the floor, the Spurs perform like a top 6 defense in the league, better than the reigning champion Boston Celtics and the surging Cleveland Cavaliers. When Wemby sits, the team allows an additional 11.1 points per 100 possessions. That's a staggering difference, especially considering the average NBA game this season is decided by just over 12 points.
Be able to guard him. The screen, the drive. Oh, it's knocked away!
At 7 feet 4 inches, with guard-like skills and a limitless ceiling, Victor Wembanyama is a basketball unicorn and the most hyped NBA prospect since LeBron James. But here's the insane truth. While everyone is mesmerized by his shooting and offensive versatility, Wemby has already become the league's most dominant defender. At just 21 years old and in his second season, he's leading the NBA in blocked shots for the second straight year, currently averaging an incredible 4.1 blocks per game. Wemby's impact goes far beyond the box score. He's shutting down offenses with his sheer presence, altering shots and decisions without even touching the ball. Let's break down why Wemby's defense is already game-changing. Victor always stood out because of his height. A famous and funny story illustrates this perfectly. A youth coach for JSF Nanterre, a storied club in the French professional league, once spotted a 1.8 meters Wemby sitting on the bench at an under-11 basketball game and thought he was one of the coaches. Wemby was only 10 years old at the time. This moment marked the beginning of his journey in Nanterre's system. One of Victor's first major accomplishments on the international stage came in 2022, when he showcased his talents with Nanterre's under-18 team at the Kaunas qualifier for the renowned Adidas Next Generation tournament. During a win over the Spanish club Zaragoza, Wemby delivered an outstanding performance with 22 points, 15 rebounds, and an ANGT record 9 blocks. Throughout the Kaunas tournament, he averaged 15.8 points, 12 rebounds, 2.8 steals, and 6 blocks per game, leading the competition in blocks and earning a spot on the all-tournament team. On June 29, 2021, Wembanyama signed a contract with ASVEL, competing in both the Pro A and the EuroLeague. It didn't take long for him to showcase his versatile defense against some of the strongest clubs in the world outside the NBA. Dominating at the youth level was almost a given for someone his size, but making it look easy to reject seasoned professionals under the basket is what really put Victor on every NBA scout's radar. Even experienced players learned the hard way not to underestimate him. Seeing Wemby switch onto them on the perimeter, they often assumed they could school the youngster, only to have their shot sent back. A larger NBA audience got their first taste of Wemby's defense in 2022, when his Metropolitans 92 arrived in Las Vegas for showcase games against the G League Ignite, a team designed to highlight top young talents. Victor, already the favorite to be the top pick in the upcoming NBA draft, faced off against another elite prospect, Ignite's Scoot Henderson. It didn't take long for Wemby to make a statement, swatting a shot just over a minute into the game, and shortly after rejecting Scoot's jumper with ease. With 5 blocks and 37 points in that game, Wemby erased any lingering doubts about who deserved to be the first overall pick. However, the pressure to live up to the immense hype was just beginning. With averages of 3.6 blocks per game, leading the league, and 1.2 steals per game, Victor became a nightmare for opposing offenses. His combination of height, wingspan, and impeccable timing made him an immediate disruptor, even for elite NBA athletes.
Blocked by Victor.
But his true impact extended far beyond the box score. The Spurs' defense took a significant leap with Wemby on the floor, ranking among the top 3 defenses during his minutes. His mere presence altered the way opposing teams approached their offensive sets. In fact, when Wembanyama played, opponents scored 8.5 fewer points per 100 possessions, a staggering effect that few, if any, players in recent history can match. For context, some of the NBA's best defenders didn't come close to that level of efficiency and impact. Jaren Jackson Jr., the 2023 Defensive Player of the Year, limited opponents by 4.9 fewer points per 100 possessions. Bam Adebayo, the 2022 Defensive Player of the Year, helped the Miami Heat hold teams to 4.2 fewer points. Rudy Gobert, in his 2018 Defensive Player of the Year season, allowed 6.8 fewer points per 100 possessions. Draymond Green, the 2017 Defensive Player of the Year, restricted opponents by 5.2 fewer points. Wemby's ability to warp the floor defensively defensively, forcing elite scorers to pass up shots or entirely alter their approach, is a rare trait. His influence on the game is similar to Steph Curry's offensive gravity. Wembanyama is the defensive equivalent of that phenomenon, as teams adjust their entire game plan because of his presence on the court. Throughout the 2023-24 season, Wembanyama also ranked among the league's elite in several key defensive categories outside of blocks. Top 10 in deflections with 205, 8.4 defensive rebounds per game, 27.3% defensive rebound percentage, 594 total defensive rebounds.
Curry, nowhere to go, Wemby swallowed him!
Another underrated aspect of his game is his ability to clean up the glass and spark fast breaks with his rebounding. Defensive rebounding often flies under the radar for fans, but think about it. What's the value of a block, deflection, or a shutdown drive to the rim if you can't secure the miss to finish the defensive stand? Even worse, allowing the opponent to regain possession near the basket negates all that hard work. Wembanyama's rookie season was nothing short of historic. He became the first rookie in NBA history to be named to the Kia NBA All-Defensive First Team, an honor that has been awarded since the 1968-69 season. He was also the runner-up for the Defensive Player of the Year award, losing out only to his fellow Frenchman, Rudy Gobert. So, does that mean Victor had some room to grow in this area during his second season? Apparently, he thought so too. Through San Antonio's first 40 games, almost the mid-season mark, Wemby has taken his defensive impact to new heights. The Spurs now allow an incredible 11.1 points fewer per 100 possessions when Victor is on the floor. When Wembanyama is on the court, the Spurs have a top 6 defense in the league, despite having some players opponents clearly target. When he is off the court, that rapidly falls to the 24th ranked defense. Overall, that leaves the Spurs in the middle of the pack defensively.
Here's Alperen Sengun against Wembanyama, step through, and Victor says get it!
Another impressive non-box score feat. Without Wemby, the Spurs give up 50 attempts per 100 possessions inside 14 feet, shots at the rim and short mid-range, and opponents convert nearly 58% of them. With Wemby on the floor, that number drops to around 53%, a mark bettered by only 2 of the league's top defenses. Even as the NBA increasingly emphasizes perimeter shooting, protecting the paint remains a cornerstone of every defense, and Wemby is excelling at it. To date, he has recorded 143 blocks, a staggering number that becomes even more mind-blowing when you consider he's 63 blocks ahead of Walker Kessler, the league's second most prolific shot blocker. While the rest of the NBA is playing basketball, Victor Wembanyama is playing a completely different game. With more than 4 blocks per game, he's on track to record the highest single-season block average since Dikembe Mutombo's 1995-96 campaign. Damian Lillard, the 8-time All-Star, noticed the impact of Wembanyama after facing the Spurs recently. He's always in range to block a shot, to change a shot. It's more different when he's on the floor than any other player that I've played against, Lillard told reporters after the game. You can have a great move, create a lot of space, Spurs forward Harrison Barnes said, and he can come out of nowhere and throw the ball off the glass.
Inside, Wemby just caught it in midair!
One intriguing byproduct of Wembanyama's defensive dominance is how the Spurs turn it into offense. While they don't force a ton of turnovers, they are lethal in transition following Wembanyama's blocks. San Antonio scores an eye-popping 1.37 points per possession right after his blocks that stay inbounds, according to NBA stats. For comparison, the Cleveland Cavaliers, currently the league's top offense, average 1.22 points per possession. Think about that. The Spurs boast one of the league's best defenses with Wembanyama on the floor, and their greatest form of offense is his block. Joakim Noah, a former Defensive Player of the Year and fellow Frenchman, highlighted another aspect of Wemby's game, his intelligence. I think his best skill is his intelligence, Noah told on the Young Man and the 3 podcast. You can't take away the fact that he's 7'4". He can jump to the sky, he can jump to the moon. He's a hell of a player. His mobility, you can't teach those things. Then you add in his IQ, him going to sleep early, reading books, all those things that we learn about him. I think defensively, obviously, when you think you have an open 3 and Wemby is around, you might think you're open when you're not open. That last part is what sets Victor apart from past great rim protectors. He's huge, long, and versatile. He's not a one-coverage player. Smart offenses can't just call his man up for an on-ball screen to force a switch, or go small and park his assignment in the corner to generate open shots.
Has to fade away, and he put it in!
This is what famously buried four-time Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert in playoff matchups against the Houston Rockets, Los Angeles Clippers, and most recently, the Dallas Mavericks. Like many great rim-protecting centers, Gobert is most comfortable and effective in a deep drop coverage, but he's not mobile enough to hang with smaller perimeter players. Wemby, however, is almost the next step in the evolution of defensive stalwarts. He doesn't have that weakness, and that's bad news for the rest of the NBA. Do you think Wemby can keep this insane defensive pace up for the rest of the season? How do you think he stacks up against other great defenders in NBA history? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.